What's going on, guys? Back again in the words of troops. Back again, 2-1 win, joint top, second, whatever you want to call it. Man United. We're right there. We are on Liverpool's neck, on Liverpool's ass. They can't get away from us. They cannot get away from us. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not pretend anymore. I said it probably before the December fixtures, Christmas period. I said, if we can come out of this period matching Liverpool's results, we go to that game at Anfield within striking distance of Liverpool, we are in a title race. Provided we don't get battered 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, we are fully in that title race. And I'm not going to shirk away from that. Now, of course, there's 2 games before then. One is Liverpool playing Southampton. Man United's playing Burnley, which will be our game in hand. If, let's say, we both get the same amount of points, say we both win or we both draw, whatever it is, we go into that game neck and neck in terms of points. That game is a title battle. It's not a title decider. Of course, it's a long way to go. You still got half the season left to go. But that is a title battle. That is a 6-pointer. You might want to call it a 6-pointer. But it's something to give you an indication about where this Premier League title might end up. Man United go to Anfield, give them a good hiding like nobody's done in 3 years. You can't deny it. You can't deny Man United. Liverpool lay down their marker like they've been doing at Anfield. You have to put some respect and say maybe they've got out their rut. Ending a draw, it's as you were. But let's not get it twisted. Let's not hide behind anything. We are a big club. We are not Spurs. We're not Leicester. We're not, I don't know, who's the other teams up there? Aston Villa, Southampton, Everton. We're not Everton. We are Man United. 19 games in. If we're in striking distance of the top or even top, we're in a title race. And don't let anybody tell you any different. I'm going to bring in some of the guys in the back. Red Devil Studio.
Yes.
Chucky, listen, big win today. My title, I said POGBA and BAILLY secure huge win. I think it's a toss-up between who you want to give as man the match. I mean, on the ball, creatively, POGBA was involved in everything, even getting back defensively. But in terms of a last line of defense, BAILLY was an absolute rock. Other than the rash yellow card that he gave away when he didn't really make the tackle because the guy was offside. But that is BAILLY all over. You don't get a performance of BAILLY without something like that. I mean, I'm going to go to Red Devil Studio first. How big and how important was that win?
I mean, for me, it's no debate. Eric BAILLY gets the man of the match anyway, because if he doesn't make that last-minute block, it's basically 2-2. That's going in. For me, if he doesn't put his body on the line, that is 2-2. That is going in. And we're like, I'd have been gutted. I wouldn't have been completely like, oh my goodness, but because we still played well and we've got good vibes going in. But that's what you need. That's the difference in some of these games. And bro, what can you say here, man? I'm going to see Chucky again, man, because like I'm sure you remember, especially when we were doing someone channel when we were talking about Ollie, we were talking about defense and all the hate and the slander and stuff. And I remember you guys, you and Chucky and Neeks, you guys in particular, you guys still had a level head on yourselves. Like, listen, let's just give this guy some time. Let's see what happens. Let's be real. He wasn't backed. Like, it's funny because people aren't really talking about the craziness that happened in the summer where he wasn't backed properly in the transfer window. No one is talking about that now. No one is talking. They're making that excuses for other clubs. Like Lampard, yeah, give Lampard, a bit more time, see what happens and stuff like that. But no one's talking about that with Ollie. So the fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been able to take this team and make this team work with a team that's not that dissimilar to last season, but with, Telles and Van Beek, etc., shows that he's growing, shows that he's improving, shows that he's got tactics.
Yeah.
The idea that he's not got tactics is nonsense, but, we'll get into that. But, bro, I mean, we're in a title race. It's as simple as that.
Can't deny it. Chucky, 2-1 Aston Villa, and Aston Villa are a good side. They've been very, very good since lockdown. Actually, they've been a very good side. I think the game where we beat them 3-0, since that game, they've only lost 4 before today in the whole league between last season and this season. That was a big and important win for you between BAILLY, POGBA. I don't know who did you think kind of really stood out today, or was it just a collective team performance?
For me, first of all, I'm going to have to give it to POGBA. And the reason why I'm going to have to give it to POGBA is ultimately we didn't get the clean sheet. BAILLY did this thing, but POGBA, all match, he was turning up, doing all the things that I want POGBA to do. He barely gave the ball away today, kept it disciplined, and also just the thing is for me, I'm just going to go off POGBA a little bit. The last, I don't know, the last 6 matches, what I can say about Man United is personally, I haven't had no uncomfortable, that uncomfortable, inevitable feeling, something's gonna happen. This ain't going our way. I'm looking at matches, I'm excited. The same way we come to Aston Villa today is my same approach when we went to Everton, is that I keep hearing good stuff about you. Come on, show me. Show me, innit?
Fair enough.
Give me some respect and show me. Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Because that's what I want. I want everyone that everyone's gassing up. I want to see it. Show me.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. I was on the football terrace earlier and I said, you see all the people complaining, oh, it wasn't a penalty, Varchester, Penandes, you're not in a title race.
You love to see it.
I love it. You love it. But listen, there's one thing nobody's ever said that hasn't said today. It's just Aston Villa. Because they use that one, when you beat, if you beat a Fulham or a Burnley, say we beat Burnley next week, or you play I don't know, it might even be a West Ham, even though they're doing well this season. It's just that team, it's just this team. We've beaten Wolves. We played in this run during the December. We played Leicester, Wolves, and Aston Villa, all respectable teams who have either finished in the top half recently or are performing at a brilliant level this season. And
not
we've got 2
like West Ham and Everton before that.
Exactly. And we've got 2 wins on the draw. Could easily have won all 3 games. Of course, to be fair, the Wolves game we could have drawn that as well. But people are realizing, damn, they've actually beaten a good side, which says something. As you said, Chucky, we hear a lot of good things about you. Everyone says you're on form. You got this player, that player. All right, come, bring it. Let's see what you got.
Oh man, there's a point I want to fly by you, man. Right? There's a point I want to bring up. And it kills me with absolute banter now. Check it. 6 weeks ago, there were so many Liverpool fans looking at us, laughing at us. When we come out of that Champions League, their words are, we are irrelevant, right?
Yep. Yes.
And we are terrible, all right? Deep this, right? It's simple logic. And you Liverpool fans, you think I'm trying to trigger you? Yes, I am. Check it, right? So from that point, to this point now, if we swung around the same points, by your logic, you are horrible as a team and you're terrible. Facts. There's your logic. Liverpool fans, what you're telling me is you're telling me you're bad. You're really bad. So there you go. What do you guys think about that?
Go. No, I was going to say, because, I get, and I said this when we actually crashed out, when I had time to digest it. It was frustrating. It was annoying. We should have got something from that. We shouldn't have lost Istanbul. We should be through to next one, the Champions League. But let's be real. When I was getting bantered by a lot of these Liverpool, Chelsea fans, my City fans, etc., you're not in the thing. I'm like, listen, guys, were you in a group with the runners-up of the CL last year's CL and a RP Leipzig being CL semi-finalists? You were playing Krasnodar and Rennes, and you were playing like these weird banter teams that no one even cares about, nobody even hears about. So you got this inflated sense of, because you're through to the round of 16, that somehow you're a better team, that you're going to amount to something, even something. No, you're not, because you're measuring yourself against teams that can barely do it in their own leagues. So lo and behold, people, ignored what Manchester United can do to their own peril. And I like to use Chelsea as a great example, because they spent
perfect example.
200 million this summer. Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, et al. What have they done? They're probably going to get knocked out to Atletico Madrid. And to be honest, I can't see even how they're going to get top 4 this season.
Well, listen, as you said, Chelsea, for me, they went on this run of unbeaten games after they lost to Liverpool. But who did they play? Because when you look at the stats now, they haven't beaten a side other than West Ham. they haven't beaten a side in the top half of this league this season.
In the
So
top 10.
as you said, when you're measuring yourself against a low bar, then cool, you look good. But when you play, when you actually look everything at, and that's why I like to judge things at 19 games. You've played everyone once. Every team has played everyone. You've got some. It's not the be all and end all. 38 games is the be all and end all. But you've got a gauge to say, all right, this is what we've done. This is how good we've been. This is what we need to work on. These men were gassing it up because we lost 2 out of our first 3 games. And I'm like, chill. We haven't even had a preseason. It's very, very early. We need to give these players time because we saw what they did at the back end of last season. They didn't become bad players overnight. But what we're seeing is that was a little dip. And now we're continuing to form how we ended. Well, really, how we played it in 2020. From Bruno Fernandes joined till now, we have been the best team in the Premier League.
I'll bring this to you guys though. Like, imagine if this dude was back though. Imagine if he was backed properly. Like, if our board had spent the same amount of money that Chelsea spent at 200 million in the summer on reinforcing all our weak areas, maybe getting another centre back, maybe getting a CDM or whatever. Just imagine where we would be.
Because I tell you, everyone must have had their heart in their mouth when we saw BAILLY down, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because I didn't know what the injury was. I thought I didn't know it was a head injury. I was thinking no, because we got Bruno Fernandes in January when we were supposed to get him in the summer. Where we didn't get a centre back that we wanted to get, we didn't get a right winger that we wanted to get. We ain't got another CDM. We're in January now, and the board can see. They talk about we trust Ollie, we're backing Ollie. But there's Ed Woodward come up with a statement recently. Prove that in the market. Prove it. I don't want to hear anything. Prove it.
Do you know what's unfortunate though? If you look at it logically, by the way, I don't agree with it at all. But if you look at it logically, the Glazers could say, or the board could say, you're proving us right.
Yes, they can, but I think we know.
Yeah, of course.
It's not.
It's like we're putting ourselves in a weird position. We've actually played ourselves into no transfers. You know that, right?
Yeah.
No, I hear that.
We ain't getting none. I'm pretty sure of it. We ain't getting none because when they look at it, and also the reason why I say we played ourselves into no transfers, unless there's obvious ones that just massive players, there's no one I want, unfortunately, that looks realistic for now.
Well, it's about the realistic, because obviously the players we kind of were looking at, obviously we want Grealish, we want Sancho, we want Upamecano. The likelihood of getting, I think Alaba looks like he might be going to Real Madrid actually, but that's another one. But realistically, you're not going to get them in January. Realistically, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. You can get them. Like Leipzig, yes, they're through to the next round of Champions League. They're not winning the Bundesliga. What's Upamecano staying for? For what reason? Leave. If the money's on the table, leave. Because I like BAILLY, and I think BAILLY at his best is our best centre back. But we just can't trust that he's going to be fit. And if the option when BAILLY's not there is Lindelof, we got no chance of the title. We've got no chance at all. So I think we need to get a centre back, and whether we get that now or in the summer is important. But we need to get a defensive reinforcement. So whether that's a centre back or a defensive midfielder, where it allows us to play Pogba further forward, and have that man just controlling the back line. So the midfield. Matic is too old to do that game after game after game. He can do it in a game here against a specific opposition. McTominay and Fred can't do that lone role. They have to play. They always play together. It's never one with Pogba and Bruno. It's always the two of them. So for me, I think we need a defensive reinforcement. Do I trust we're going to get it? No, because the evidence is there. We never do what we need to do.
We don't hear anything really even now. Like usually with transfer rumors, it's January. You'd think you'd been hearing it. I mean, strange things can happen because obviously in the summer transfer window, to be honest, all the free signings we signed, I didn't because they were last minute. I didn't expect any of them. I didn't expect us to sign Van der Beek. I didn't expect us. Tellez came out of nowhere, and then obviously Cavani was after. So we know we got Amad Diallo coming. Yep. Diallo, yeah.
I think his passport's pretty much secure. That's what Solskjaer said to them. Say that again.
Pelestri, I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah. Pelestri, he's in the under 23s at the moment, so we'll see.
And the Caicedo guy, the Caicedo guy, the Colombian who we've kind of been linked to, who's apparently like quite a quick DM.
Yeah,
obviously going to the 23s, but that could obviously be potentially, especially with some of the maybe the lower league FA Cup games, stuff like that, might be good to give. You know,
in terms of the game today. Okay, looking at the penalty first, do you think it was a penalty? What's your thoughts on it?
Depends what angle you're looking at. Do I think it was a penalty? Yes. Do I think it was soft? Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, it's a subjective decision. If the referee gave it, so I don't think VAR can overturn it because it wasn't a clear and obvious error. Yeah. But equally, if the referee didn't give it, VAR is not going to overturn it for a clear and obvious error. It's literally dependent on the referee, how they viewed it. And the reality is, Pogba was clipped. Now the question is, did he initiate the contact? Was it an obstruction from the defender? And that's what caused him to trip himself. He didn't dive.
No, he didn't dive. Did he initiate the contact? Yes, that's his job.
Yeah. Even before that, I think before that incident, before the penalty, I think Luke Shaw was in the box, I think. And then I think one of the players comes to him, like actually clips him. But Luke Shaw stays on his feet and keeps on going. And Pogba's like, why don't you go down? Why don't you go down? You can see him.
Wait, did he actually do that?
Yeah, it's literally just like,
I didn't see it.
Like something like, he's like, why did you go down? And so it's funny then, like after that, Pogba obviously goes down, you know.
But this is it. We see these decisions where, or incidents where players try and stay on their feet. They're honest. They might get a shot away, but it was off balance, and the referee don't give anything. And then in the next breath, we're complaining if they go down. But if referees gave decisions based on whether the player was obstructed or not, as opposed to whether they go down, then more players will try and stay on their feet because they might get a shot away and could score. But referees only give the decision if you go down. So yeah, listen, there was contact. He was obstructed. He went down.
I've seen softer penalties from Salah. Like Liverpool fans,
100%, 100%
on Salah. So come on, allow that.
In terms of the performance, like were you happy overall with the performance? Like, and I obviously it's Liverpool fans in there talking to it, and they're like, Villa dominated the game. They deserve something from it. I mean, me personally, I'm like, we created all the best chances. Pogba should have scored.
Villa were in a game, definitely. Villa were in a game. Pay respect to Villa too, rightly so. Pay respect to Villa.
Yeah,
our lineup paid respect to Villa. I wasn't sure what it was going for. Then I realized nullify midfield, stop Jack Grealish as much as possible, and hopefully we're good enough to come out of it.
Exactly.
With no natural wingers and no natural width and being so narrow, it was always going to be difficult to dominate the game as far as too many clear-cut chances. But we have plenty. My boy Marcus Rashford, who I love, he misses for fun though. You know what I mean? So we had the best chances. So now Villa did not dominate the game. That's just not even true. That's called hate. It's called
100%. 100%.
Last time they were in the title race, they saw what happened, didn't it? You were 9 points. Liverpool, you were 9 points clear. You were 9 points clear and you blew it. We got the same points right now, you know. With the same points as United. You guys are a joke. You make me sick.
The thing I've noticed also recently, like I mean, just comparing the two teams, is that like one of the big issues at the start of the season was that our away form has been fantastic. It's been absolutely fantastic. I think we just got the draw against Leicester City, but it's been great. But our home form it wasn't great. I think up in that the Arsenal games, I think was our last loss. We lost like 3 games at home to Arsenal, Palace, and Spurs.
Yeah.
Since the Arsenal lost, obviously we beat West Brom, we beat Aston Villa, obviously, and we beat
Wolves.
I think, do we have another home win?
Would be Wolves,
Wolves, Villa, and West Brom. I
think there's one more. I could be.
Yeah.
Leeds.
Leeds, yeah, Leeds, yeah. So 4 home wins. So what I'm excited about is that like our away form was, but let's be real, we couldn't win a title with like a home form that was initially as bad as that. We had to do something, and now our home form is starting to catch up to our away form. Yeah. Whereas look at Liverpool's side, their away form is actually not that great, you know, especially regarding their draws that they've been getting, you know. So as much as I want to go to Anfield and win, because let's be real, like it would be amazing, their home record is absolutely ridiculous. So if we were even to get a point, I'd probably be happy. But from what I can see from Liverpool this season, they seem to be dropping a lot more points on the road. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they drop further points on the road again this season, especially when they come to Old Trafford.
Yeah. Well, listen, go
I
on.
expect it. I expect them to drop points. It's as simple as that. I'm not being funny. I said it to my Liverpool friend, man, Sneaky, as in Liverpool are on a downward trajectory. I don't care how you look at it. Look at current form. You can't sustain it forever, man. And furthermore, it's going away, and there's a way to play against Liverpool. You can't keep it up forever. They're going to drop points. They're not the same team.
Well, listen,
Anyway.
just as before I bring in Tom right here, listen, Liverpool they were on an upward trajectory. 2017-18, Salah came in, had that mad season. They got to the Champions League final. Van Dijk came in the January, and they finished 4th. The next season, they get 97 points and nearly win a league title, win the Champions League. That's title winning form they're on. They then go and get 99 points last year and win the league. So that's 2 years of title winning form, supported by a season prior where they were going up. You're telling me that they're going to keep that same level for a third/4th season? Completely impossible. So when people are saying things like, well, how are Man United going to close in 30 points? They all say, I'm like, Man United don't need to close in 30 points because Liverpool need to drop 15. We gain 15, and there we are. And right now, the Premier League will be won with less than 90 points. Yes. So that's already Liverpool dropping 10, 12, 15 points. People was a delusion that Liverpool are just going to continue like this. It's the same thing happened with Man City. Man City won, before I just coming to you, Tom. Man City won the league with 100 points. And some people are like, oh, the league is rubbish now. They've ruined the money. I was like, bro, Man City aren't going to be like this forever. Other teams are going to say, oh, we need to raise to that level.
On the decline now.
Yeah, or we need to spend, etc. The next season, Liverpool challenge them. It's impossible to retain that level. That's why you have to big up Sir Alex Ferguson so much, who went 3 years in a row, won the Premier League on 2 separate occasions. It's not easy, and people have taken it very, very lightly. Liverpool are going to try and defend their title this year. And for me, I said it in the last stream, it's a 3-horse title race. Man City are in that title race because they got games in hand, and they're going to close that and put the pressure on Liverpool.
We see it so similar. A lot of people, Tom, a lot of people keep writing, I don't get it. Bro, I fear City. I'm not as in I'm scared of them. I take them very seriously, man.
You have to.
I take it more seriously than Liverpool. Even though it's going to sound dumb, I still see Liverpool as favourites, but I take City more seriously than Liverpool.
You can't sleep on them. Tom, in terms of the game, we'll speak about the title race maybe a bit more, but in terms of the game, you've been quite critical of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We have to be honest. You've been quite critical of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Since we lost to Arsenal middle of November, we haven't lost a Premier League game. We've won, I think, 8 out of the last 10, I believe it is, with 2 draws. Who do we draw with? Leicester
Leicester.
And maybe
Chelsea.
No, Chelsea was before that, wasn't it? Chelsea was before Arsenal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was before.
We drew to City.
City, of course, the Manchester derby, yeah. So Leicester and City, we've drawn. Every other game, I think it's 8, we've won. What's your thoughts on Manchester United right now? The form, the players, the manager, and then we can get on to whether we're in a title race or not.
Well, I have been a critic, I'll be honest, and I hope my hands up in saying that. But at the time, it was for the right reasons, because we weren't playing. It looks like a completely different team if you take the team from now until back then. The lowest point for me wasn't even the Spurs game for me. It was the Istanbul when we lost away there, and that game alone cost us the Champions League group stages. Really, that game alone, because you win that and you win the return leg against Istanbul, you go through, and that was really the low point. But I think the main key point that a lot of people need to take is we are not playing in the Champions League, and so I think that betters us even more as to say why Manchester United can challenge for the title, because if we're not playing in the Champions League, we're not going to be playing the best teams in Europe, so you're not going to be worrying about that, or playing these mad games, flying halfway across the world to go and play in these in these tournaments and that. You've not got that problem. Whereas, and I think we've got the squad now to mount some sort of a challenge. And like you just said, Liverpool are going to drop points from their total last season compared to, say, now. And I think it's a case of, with Ole, if he can build the points up. And one thing that he said a year ago that I will take back is, you've got to find a way to win ugly. You're not always going to play amazingly. You've always got to find a way to win, even though you might not deserve to win. And I think we are kind of seeing that now because we're scoring goals towards the end of games. Like the Wolves game, the goal comes out of nothing and, it gains you 3 points. Liverpool had this sort of spell, and we'll get onto them in a bit. But what I mean is Liverpool went into the phase of, they went into the 17-18 season where they were not expected to challenge, but they mounted somewhat of a challenge towards the end, but they focused on the Champions League and they got to the final and the end of that. Then the following season, they backed in the summer, they went again, and then they did mount a challenge, and they were very unlucky not to have won the title that season. But if we're being honest, as of right now, we are... Well, I think Leicester will probably jump off the wagon a bit, but when we've compared Ollie to some managers, I know I've said, managers like Brendan Rodgers probably has a better footballing IQ in terms of management than Ollie. But what I take back about Ollie is he does have the knowledge in terms of Manchester United. That's the one thing that he can hold on, and that's the one thing that I could never take away from is if you have the experience of having something to do with Man United, then you've got to know how this club functions and how it runs because he's been in the great teams.
Not to interrupt you, but also what's important, and I keep on stressing this, is that this is the modern game of football now. And one of the things that is very, very important is it's one thing to just have, because a lot of the focus, especially on coaches, has been what is their tactics? Emotion, how they go. Yes, that is definitely important. But for me, which is even more so important these days, is actually how you are as a manager, how you are able to make the team happy, to gel everyone, to create an atmosphere. For me, that is more important in football now than it was then. And people might say, well, that's ridiculous. But just look at the Thomas Tuchel situation. Tuchel got sacked by PSG, and I know why he got sacked. It's obvious to me that the players and the hierarchy, but certainly the players, didn't respect the guy at all. Despite the fact that he's won them, obviously, the league, despite the fact he's got them through, despite the fact he got them to a CL final, the players didn't respect him. And so, we go on about how tactically astute managers should be and what they've achieved, etc. But the fundamental out of football is these days, if you lose the dressing room, it's
You're done. You're finished.
How many trophies or titles that you've got.
You're done.
It's obvious to me every single time I see this United team that the players are playing for Ollie.
And this is one of the biggest reasons why I've never been Ollie out. It's one of the reasons. Other ones, but it's the fact that people are like, oh yeah, a better manager could come in and do X, Y, Z. So the better manager may have us playing better football on the eye, but who's to tell you that the players are going to be happy? The players, whether we're playing good football or not, whether we're winning or not, they respect Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They're trying. That's why every time it looks like his job's about to be, it's on the line, they pull out a performance.
Exactly.
They are playing for the manager. We don't know if those players are going to play for the next manager that comes in. Someone said, I know he's won. I can't remember which game it was. I know he's doing this, but right now we should still sack him and bring in another manager who can then win us the league. And I'm like, wait, we were second in the league. Well, we've been striking this in Liverpool. You want to sack him to get your favorite manager in because this manager plays sexy football. In what world do you sack a manager?
In the middle of a title race, who does that? No one does.
In the middle of a title race, you sack your manager.
Only
that?
Only Watford would do that.
There's just no. It was never going to happen. But that's how blinded and narrow-minded some fans are. That they were Ollie, or they've been Ollie out, and they cannot move away from that. Things change in football. I had a discussion with Erhan. Well, he was in the comments on the last stream, talking about Marcus Rashford and whether he's like a purple patch player, goes on runs. And I said, no, you're stuck in 2017-18. That was Rashford under Jose. Look at Rashford, and we went through on the stream, went through all the stats, and Rashford hasn't gone more than 3 games in the last 2 years without registering a goal or assist. He's always involved in getting us.
And even if he doesn't get a goal or something, he's always involved in the build-up.
So, but because it happened, it was true at some point, people's minds are still there. We need to be able to move with the times, move with that. And, Solskjaer at the beginning of his reign was up and down, up and down. But in 2020, it's been up, 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 up. Of course, you're going to lose a game here or there, but the trajectory is going the right way. And that's the way we need to just move with what's happening in football. Let me go through some of these comments quickly, and then we'll come back to discussion.
Neeks, head off, sorry, but
That's fine, man. Bless up, man. Thank you. Shane says, Bailly greater than Zuma and Gabriel. I think so. I think. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
All I've seen Zuma do is score from corners. That's all I've seen.
I'll say that though. But
we need some goals from corners. We need some goals from corners, man. Bloody hell. Maguire got a big head and doesn't score.
Sorry, let you read comments first. Sorry, G. I got some come after.
De Gea's performance going under the radar. And I think, remember when, David De Gea was, people were saying to get Henderson in after we conceded a few free kicks against Istanbul and James and Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see the error that he makes against Sheffield United. Now, I'm not knocking Henderson. I think he's a talented goalkeeper. He will be Man United's number one. But it's like when a player is playing,
number one.
He should be. He should be England number one now. No, to be fair, maybe Nick Pope should be. It definitely shouldn't be Pickford. They forget that. But David De Gea is playing well. And again, it's a case of because he was poor in the last year and a half, people are still looking at that and judging him now. Judging him on this season, for me, he's been, I won't say faultless. The goal against Leipzig, him and Maguire were both at fault for that. But other than that, he's been pretty solid. Matthew says, I think Chelsea can beat, he's a Chelsea fan, can beat City tomorrow. They've got 5 players out, so we have a good chance. Man United fans, so you two here, what would you like to see from this game, result-wise, Chelsea versus City?
A draw. I want to see a draw, personally, because neither team gain points, and we would have gained 2 points from them. That's my personal opinion.
What are you saying, Chucky?
I want to see City win.
Okay, why is that?
Reason being, okay, all right. You know what? It's just I've been quiet this season because there's not too much to say and the positions we've been in, right? But I want Chelsea to lose so they can have that pressure. So Frank can have that pressure. So the banter can be switched. It's too fashionable all season to call United. It's just too fashionable. Yeah. This is why I'm finding it out. It's too fashionable. That's why people can't get past Rashford years ago. That's why they can't get past De Gea, what he's done. But it's just fashionable to call United, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what Lampard is getting away with a lot. I saw a video.
Come on. Blows 200 million in the market, and
come on,
the play now doing now. Come on, you know.
They won one game against a top 10 side. Solskjaer was getting criticised for only beating the big sides. Lampard's getting obliged for only beating the small side. It's crazy. I was watching the video on ESPN, and ESPN have been getting onto Man United for over a year now.
God.
Getting onto Solskjaer. Craig Burley.
And listen, that guy, man.
The title said it's foolish to talk about Lampard's job or something like that. Like, I'm like, but you were trying to sack Solskjaer just a week ago. Like, what the hell? Like, listen, these people are. Listen, I'm with you. I want Chelsea to lose. Not even just necessarily for that. I think that's a good reason. But I do think the top 4 race is as tight as a title race, and I need priority for Man United is top 4. If we get a title at the end, cool, bonus. But we need to be in the Champions League next year.
Why do we see things so similar? This is literally what I was just saying. What I was going to say to Tom before he went, right? I try my best to. A lot of people don't do it. Listen to the manager of your club, because he's not trying to harm you, and he sees this all the time. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer first come in, he said these guys ain't fit enough. He said this, and he wanted to work on that. I thought that sounds a little bit draconian at first, right? I thought,
yeah.
Got a bit of things to work on. Is it coincidence how many goals we scored at the end of the matches? Does that have something to do with fitness or not?
100%.
Gone?
No, 100%. I agree.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said beginning of this season, we ain't had no preseason. We're not up to scratch. When we get up to scratch, we'll see where we are. Is it coincidence after we had the same length of games as you'd have a preseason, we started to turn up? Is that coincidence? How about people just listen to him rather than calling him? That's why you know what? I've got a channel. That's why I stopped posting. I found myself just defending the same players every week, the same conversations, and it was just nonsensical, man. Just looking at it and looking at the gaps of where we are, man. It's crazy. This league is crazy, and the hate from Manchester United is so obvious now. I mean, before you sound a little bit delusional, but we were lost in the source because we're always winning. But it's clear as day now. It's clear, clear as day. I don't get it, man. It's weird.
I brought in Zayn, Liverpool fan. I'm going to come to you in a second. Then I'm going to go through some of these comments quickly.
For a minute, boy. Liverpool, man.
Grealish is coming soon. Shane says Grealish passed his Old Trafford trial. Listen, Grealish was good today. Grealish does not. He don't care where he's playing, who he's up against. He does his thing, and you have to respect it. And started, in the first half. I think Tom said earlier, or it might have been Red Devil. We had the two defensive midfielders to try and deal with Grealish. He drifted out to the left. He wasn't getting much change from Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who had a very good game today. Great assist. He should have been a bit more awake for the goal that they scored, but then he had that great clearance at the back post when I can't remember who was coming in at the back post for the header. But Grealish moved over to the right. It was actually him who put that cross in because he wasn't getting any change, but he's so good that he can just move across the pitch and he's always effective. Like, I want him at Man United. I expect Pogba to leave in the summer. I want Grealish.
I'm happy with it. As in that before, I never thought I'd say it before. That is a trade I would take. Before this season, I was like, thought to myself, maybe people are just hyped over Grealish because he's English, innit? But I've seen now. I've seen it.
Let's see 1 second. Hala Madrid says Alaba signing is so stupid. He ain't even getting our starting 11. That's for Real Madrid. I mean, that's for Zidane to decide, not you.
Why not? Why can't Alaba get in, but Scott McTominay can?
No. Into the Real Madrid 11.
Oh, why not?
I don't know.
Why not?
Well, because he wants to play midfield. Can he get in midfield is the question, I guess. But I think he can. Alaba for me is a world-class player.
I'll take him all day. I like Alaba. I got time for him.
I'm gonna come to you, Zane. Just lap it, just drink it all in. Man United, right on your tail.
Do you know what?
Right on your tail. Wait, I'll come to you in a second. Just relax. 21, Man United. Mr. Architecture says Ollie has always been a decent manager, but just not Man United level for me. Now, this is where I understand what you're saying, but I disagree in the sense that what Red Devil said earlier. It's more than just having the abilities to coach a team on a technical level. Man United is an institution, and we've seen bigger and better managers crumble under the pressure of Manchester United, LVG, Jose Mourinho, David Moyes, more experienced, more successful, but they don't know Man United. They're saying things in press conferences that are like, this ain't Man United. David Moyes is like, we want to reach the level of Man City. What? Even if you're thinking it, don't you dare say it. Jose Mourinho, after the Sevilla game. Well, there's about 10 players of theirs who will get in my team. This is football heritage. Talking about all the times we've been knocked out of the Champions League to save his own. Ollie puts Man United before his own vanity, which a lot of Man United managers don't actually do. Bear with me 1 second. Ollie brought back belief of winning games. I put Ollie on his player management, the way he's kept all the players more or less happy. Even Pogba is looking happy himself, and that's not an easy one with everything that's happening with with his agent, etc. So, big up Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for this. And before I bring in Zayn here, Kevin K, who is the biggest hater I've got on this channel, absolute biggest hater, Chelsea fan, fluky win, all these lucky penalties and lucky results will end soon. Rein in your horses. You are not winning the title. Zayn, he's a Chelsea fan, but do you agree? Fluky wins, lucky penalties, Man United ain't coming close to the title. What are you saying?
Liverpool. No. Do you know what? First of all, big up for Neeks for letting me on, because like I said, I'm one of those few Liverpool fans. I don't care, but I'll keep it real, bro. I'll go on any channel and just keep it real, and I'll give you guys respect. I'm not going to hate on you guys. I think you're doing what a champion winning team would do. I'm not saying you're going to win it, but what do they say? The best teams win when they're not playing well. It doesn't matter how you do it, you grind and get that result. You did that in the previous game, right? Injury time, you got that game, and in here, right? Like I said, people are gonna moan about it's for the penalty. Like I said, I was doing my reverse juju, and you're like, right, I wasn't gonna watch a game because I thought if I watch it, you are gonna win, and I don't want to see it because it's more painful when you watch the whole game and the team wins. You get me? Because you feel connected, emotional to it. Do you know what I mean? Where if you don't watch it, that's why I was watching Cobra Kai. Because I thought, you know what? I'll look at Sky Sports notifications. I'm thinking it real, bro. I'm like, oh fuck, it's 1-0.
Listen, before you continue, I do the same in Liverpool. When you were playing West Brom, when you're playing West Brom, I didn't watch the game. I was like, there's no point. Liverpool are winning. This is what happened. I didn't watch it. I turned it on quickly. Mane scores. I turned it off, and I was like, I'll come back. I'll come back. I was like, I'll come back in the 85th minute. See if they're still in the game. And I think they scored in like the 83rd. So I came in towards the last 5 minutes. Like some games you think are foregone conclusion. But Man United, Aston Villa, that's not the same as Liverpool West Brom. That was always going to be a tough game.
Entertaining. Yeah, of course it was. Yeah. And how did Grealish do on his audition? Did he do good?
Listen, I'll sign him tomorrow if we can.
Well, I want Grealish. I want Grealish. And you know what? Them ones was like, yo, Donny, you might sit on the bench for another season.
Oh no! Oh, that's deep. It's deep. It's deep.
You know what? One thing with he's a real player, old school player. Do you get me? One of them, the Ryan Giggs, kind of like solid, and he's got the skills, but he backs it. There's an output to it. Do you get me? You know, when that guy gets it, this looks dangerous. Something's going to happen. Do you get me? And people get scared around him. Shook.
He loves it. That's what it is for me.
It's true.
He loves it. He loves it.
Yeah.
He loves everything about it. The attention, the fashion, the cameras,
the shorts, man.
The pressure. He loves it.
The gal them.
I mean, come on. Okay, Shimpan, look how small they are, bro. And he's got like some massive legs. He's got some shirts on. He's trying to flex, and he's like, "Yeah, look at me, bro." Do you get me? So
he loves it. He loves it.
Let me ask you, Zayn, as a Liverpool fan, obviously you've got Southampton on Monday, which was like for me, I expected this to be the toughest game of your like Christmas run. Now you drew with West Brom, you drew with Fulham,
Newcastle.
Newcastle. Now you got Southampton away from home. Are you expecting Liverpool? Are you expecting Liverpool to kind of just say, listen, this little rut we're in needs to end now and just come out all guns blazing?
Do you know what it's going to be, right? There's bottom six to play dead fossil football, right? Banks of 10, blah, 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 right? Southampton, they play football still. They still try. Do you get me? So that's when we're right. We're all right. Against playing teams, right, we've always, dealt with them, right? The problem we've had this season is we can't deal with those fossil football teams, bro. The bottom six, they just get some dodgy corner, bang, it goes in or something. You know what? Like in Darlow, man, he had the game of the season, bro. Everything was coming off. Like, I'm not going to, like, a lot of fans will bitch about, oh, no, he pulled Mane's leg. I'm thinking that Mane, you should have more sense to just act like you got shot something. Do you get me? You probably would get the penalty, right? But he tries to be something like, no. Man, Pogba did the thing today. Like I said, yeah.
Remember, earlier in the season, you played a team that almost got relegated last season, didn't it? They kind of have the same points as Southampton. Should you be that confident?
You know what? All I'm going to say is, any team that we've basically, in our struggle against, it's the low block teams, right? And as I said to these guys on the terrace as well, right? Any team that wins the title is a team that best navigates those low block teams, because that's how 7 teams to set up like we just want to draw, we want a point, that's it, we want to survive for the whole 90 minutes, right? If you can beat those teams like we did last year, you're going to win the title, because that's where most people drop the games. Everyone thinks,
So what you're telling me is that you're not going to beat us at Anfield, because we're coming back, we're going to sit back and hit you on the counter attack. We ain't coming there to play football.
No, do you know what? No,
bro.
No, trust me, right? There's too many people in your team like Bruno, Pogba. They're not. They want to go for that glory. They want to break that record, bro. They want to destroy that, right? So it's different, bro. And also, it means more this year. Let's be honest. And I've always said this. Right? I'm keeping it real with you guys. I wanted you guys to be competitive. Come and show us something, because it means more when you win it against rivals. Because let's be honest, guys, right? Everton, Liverpool ain't no derby, right? Let's be honest. It's the biggest derby in this country is Liverpool, Man U. But them fucking North London lot with their, London is red or white. You get me? FC and Bottle Drop, do you know what I mean, right? And Chelsea, they got no one. They got Fulham, bruv. They ain't got no proper. Do you know what I mean? The real derby in this country is between us and you.
Tell me what you think of Arsenal, bro. Arsenal.
Oh yeah, you know what? I'll give you a background, right? Because I think some of the chat I've cottoned on that. I've got a thing about Arsenal, right? and I'll tell you where that comes from. Right? I'll keep it real, right? Like I said, like I said, I'm 44, bro. So man's been around still. Do you get me, right? And 89 at Anfield, bro, when they beat us 2-0 with Marco Thomas, that just burned deep, man. All of you must have a game. Right, where a team burn you deep. Do you get me? There's a team that
Aguero, isn't it?
We're not even playing.
Yeah.
We're not even playing. That Aguero
sound. Exactly, right? So no matter what happens, you're always gonna have some bad feelings towards that team now, isn't it? Man City, you don't care. You just don't like them, right? You get me, right? So with Arsenal, trust me, they're banned FC, and I believe in karma and that kind of judge, right? Right? No, I'll keep it real, right? And I'm looking to do a video on this as well, right? The thing I have a problem with Arsenal, right, is like they had Wenger, great manager, and they were dominating and doing well in the league and all that kind of stuff, right? But they didn't win the Champions League, bruv, right? And everyone's going, but if you're going to be elite big boy team, you need to win that Champions League at least once, right? Chelsea did it, right? They were in that because remember, football's cyclical, right? There's times, we're 30 years to win the title, 25 years before Ferguson come in, right? It speaks to trust. So when you're on top, you got to win the big boy trophies.
You got to snatch everything.
And the problem I have, right, with Arsenal fans especially, right, and I can spot them a mile off, man, because there's a certain thing, especially if you live in London. You get me? You all know, man. Trust me. If you live in London, right, I guarantee you, any football fan,
you can smell them.
Yeah, exactly, right. There's just come annoying thing about them. It's just like you can't describe it, but you go. Literally, enough times I've gone off 5 minutes. Are you Arsenal fan? Do you get me? Because I'm not gonna lie.
You can spot an Arsenal fan. Most of them don't talking any more than 2 syllables.
Oh, mate. Honestly, right? So the problem I have with them, right? Obviously, big up to Arsenal fan team, and then they've got the team going or whatever, right? But they make up too much noise for not doing nothing. And do you know what? Right? And the one thing that they can never answer the question, right? They big up Wenger like he's a G, a legend, whatever, right? I worked this out the other day because I'm doing a video on this, right? My man got into the qualifier of the Champions League 20 times, right? He's got about the top 4, blah, 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 right? 20 times. They got to one final, bruv. Right? 2005. Our team was dead, bruv. We beat Prime AC Milan, bruv. We had fucking Kaka, Shevchenko, Jimmy Maldini,
Crespo.
Yeah, Crespo as well. And who do we have on our team? Schmicha, fucking. Have you heard of this man? Do you get me? Jimmy Troy. Exactly. We were dead, bruv. We were some dead team. We were losing 3-0, bruv, right? And we still come through and won it. And then 2 years later, we got to the final again. So my point is, and this is the problem I have with Arsenal fans, right? It's like they won't admit that for 20 years they only got to one final. That's a failure, bruv. Do you get me? When you guys look Ferguson, 20 years, he won it twice. He got to a final as well. So 3 times he was there.
Went 3 finals, bro. Don't forget that.
Right. Yeah, 3. That's what I mean. 2 you won and one you lost against Chelsea. Yeah. So
against
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Listen. We had 2 wins and two runners up. Yeah, 2009
exactly,
and 2011.
Right? In the same kind of time period, right? Same kind of time period because Ferguson was there like 20 plus years, right? Yeah. So that's what I get annoyed with Arsenal fans because they're gassing up. I'm thinking, bruv, you're not even on that elite level, bruv. Do you get me?
Let me look at this.
I call them a domestic club, bruv. Domestic.
Comment here from Erhan, Spurs fan. He says, my moment was when Chelsea won the... So we got some feedback. I'm going to mute you lot smart quickly. My moment was when Chelsea won the Champions League to screw us over. We finished 4th and went Europa. I remember that 2012. Spurs were in the Champions League position. And that back then, only 4 teams could qualify. Obviously, it's changed now where you can get 5 teams plus. And then Mr. Architecture says, I have 2. The Wilfred goal at Old Trafford. I'm guessing you just mean just this season. And the Aguero one, of course, as a Man United fan. Let me, as we wrap up the stream. For me, actually, I'm going to come to you lot first. Which team, I'll come to Chucky first. Which team or which teams do you think are in or will be in a genuine title race this season?
All right. Unfortunately, as happy as I am now, it's all a big part of it is banter. I don't believe we're going to win the league. I want to believe, but I just don't believe we're going to win the league unless other teams mess up. So for me, City, Liverpool, just by where they've been, are the ones you should look forward to. And then us just outside. That's the title race, if you will. But for me, look out for City, man. Just look out for City. That's what I say.
Yeah. Tom, the title race. Who do you think? Which teams are you think are in it?
Well, Liverpool, you've got to say, are obviously going to be in it, or thereabouts. But if you're going to have a favourite, it's going to obviously be Liverpool, but an outsider is obviously Man United. At the start of the season, I think everybody would have said Liverpool and City, you know, and people were dreaming when they said about Chelsea coming anywhere close to winning it. You don't buy that many players and suddenly you turn into, you know, geniuses and Lampard's the next Guardiola and goes on and wins the league by 100 points. It doesn't happen like that. It's like we've not gone, say, clicked his fingers and suddenly Ollie's winning all these trophies and everything. It doesn't happen like that. So I'd say that genuinely, I'd probably say Man United, City and Liverpool. You know, if I'm being genuinely, I think we are in it there or thereabouts. But I think just a couple of injuries to key players. You know, Fernandes gets injured, God forbid, you know, you can write it off completely. That's just all that you've got to do because there isn't anybody else there who can do what he can do to this team because you put him in the team and out of the team. Just like you take a couple of players out of Liverpool team, like you take Van Dijk, probably the goalkeeper and a key attacker like Salah or somebody, or Mane, then Liverpool aren't as functional as they are usually. So, you know, and City, you know, you can say what we want about the injuries that they've got and the issues that they've got, obviously, with the virus. But if they've got a fully fit squad and everybody can function and they actually start playing a lot better and getting results, then I would say, it's got to open up to City. And they've got the games in hand. So, just like us, like say, we can beat Burnley. The result tomorrow wouldn't really matter because we can still beat Burnley and would go into the Liverpool game joint on points, and then the only thing is that goal difference. But who
yeah,
knows,
I mean, goal difference. I mean, obviously we know that the league's been won on goal difference once before. If it happens again, goddamn, I hope we're not on the wrong side of it. But a long way to go with that one. As the Liverpool fan in the chat, Zane, who is gonna be challenging for your title this season?
Right, again, it's gonna be the three teams that you called out. You know, Liverpool, Man City, Man United. Man City are the dark horses. They're the ones, really. I think, you know, they're the ones with the pedigree to come through and do it. And potentially, like I said, if we don't win it, it'll probably be them. But again, highlighting what Tom just said about the injuries. If any of you other teams get the injuries that we've had this year, I'm not making an excuse of it, but all I'm going to say is that I'm surprised, considering the injuries we've had, that we're still at the top. And my theory on that is I think everyone's sort of bottled it at the moment. They've all sort of dropped points against each other and done dumb things, you get me? And we're fortunate that we're still where we are because we haven't played great this season. We've been up and down. And we've lost some key infrastructure like Fabinho. He's out. He's our CDM. He pulls it, you know, keeps it all going. He's now in defence. A bit like when Fernandinho went from midfield to defence for City. Do you get me? They lost a bit in that midfield area. And there's the same kind of situation happening at Liverpool, right? Where, you know, playing at elite little, it's minute, you know, percentages. Do you know what I mean? That, you know, and little things like this do make a big difference to the dynamics of the team and how they play and the patterns of play that they do. So I think from my point of view, if the rest of the teams are injury free, then probably I'd say City. But if they have similar kind of injuries that we've had, then I would say Liverpool. But obviously, it all depends on Jan transfer as well. I don't know. Again, a question out to you guys.
Well, listen, you've been talking about Thiago, innit? You've been saying Thiago's here. So you're good. You don't need Fabinho. I'm saying So Fabinho dropping into the back line, you got Thiago, innit?
No, yeah, but I explain that then, right? So again, what Fabinho's good at doing is recycling, and people seem to forget that he's not just a CDM. Fabinho, there's a few times where he's lifted balls over onto Salah or Mane, they run in chest to that bang, scored a goal, and he does that kind of distribution. What we're finding is, and that's, you know, I'll keep it real. I've said this on the show as well. I used to call Henderson a donkey back in the day, right? I'm not going to lie, he was a donkey, right? Eeyore. I'll be polite to him. I call it Eeyore now, for what I mean, because on the day, man's improved still. Do you get me, right? But Eeyore, right? After, right. I'll give it a real bro.
That is your captain.
But you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I got a bit annoyed with Ram because he's making us Brighton FC, bruv. The way he was just gassing up Hendo, and then literally next day he's like, This is James. I'm like, no, bro. And as I keep saying to people, because Terry's picked up and he goes, "Oh, you LFC fans, do you lot think he's this and that?" I'm like, no, bro, don't associate with me like that. He's a good captain. He's got great emotional intelligence. He keeps people bonded and together. But he's a system squad player, right? He works effectively in the system, but he's not a six, bro. He's not a six. And everyone keeps saying, "Oh, when he's not in the team, we don't win." He's been in the team for the past 4 or 5 games, hasn't he? What's going on? What's going on there, bruv? What are the fans saying to me now? Do you get me? Oh, yeah. He's he's Hendinino or whatever. I don't know where this nonsense come up, but it's a joke, bruv. But what I'm going to say about Thiago, right? I tell you, right, what I did, because my boy plays football and all that, he's been scouted quite a few times for Tottenham, Palace, blah, blah, blah. So he's played decent, right? One thing I've picked up, you can pick up in about 5-10 minutes if a player's going to be good or not. Honestly, I'm not joking, right? I can't explain it to you guys, right? But obviously, because my boy is doing his football, he's a goalkeeper and all that. I watch a lot of football, right? And I can spot, after a while, you can spot, right? And I'm telling you, when he came on that time, right? You guys won't notice, right? When he came on like this, like, do you know what I mean? Like, what? I'm here now, bruv. Do you get me? Like some general, bruv. And then all I see is Henderson, right? Body language. Henderson comes up to him like, "Oh, you're right. Do you know what? It's like back at school. Do you know what I mean? When the big man comes in, do you know what I mean? And all the little slime man, like, yeah. All the side men, like, yeah, what are you saying, bruv? That's how it was, bruv. That's how it was, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Hendo was like, you're right. And then straight away, like, he may have not watched the game, right? But as soon as he got the ball, he was like, bang, let's bring it there, bang, that way. Do you know what I mean? It's like, give me the ball. Do you know what I mean? I'm telling you, everyone's only thing that will stop Thiago showing what he can do is injury, right? And that's the fact everyone keeps saying he's an injury prone, right? But in my opinion, my humble opinion, obviously we'll see what happens. The effect Bruno has had in your team, you know, as soon as he come in, it just like that, and Terry keeps showing his belly grass and that kind of stuff. And I'm not a little bit bad, right? I'm not, I think he goes a bit too extra with those, but still, I get what he's trying to make, right? I honestly believe, like with Thiago, if he stays fit for the rest of the season, you'll see a difference. And then it's a the thing with football, it's percentages, right?
I bloody hope so. We see a bloody difference. You got him from the best team in the world. But people not have a difference. What the hell?
No, do you know what, Neeks? I tell you, how disrespect him on this on the chat today. He was comparing him to Rob Holding, and I'm like, no, you're violating her, bruv. Yeah, no, you're part of Band FC, right? But he come from the treble. Didn't Bayern just win the treble? Didn't he just dominate the Champions League final? He was just busting that Champions League final, right? And it's like some people seem to forget that my man's done everything. He's done his thing now, and he's like, you know what? I want to end on a swan song. And he decided to come to us, bro. He could go anyway.
Man wanted to retire. Okay, pick up a pension, innit? Because he's
no. Don't talk. No, you're making like a banging man.
It's just like Ozil. He was, and then he goes to a club, and then things happen. I hear you.
I'll give you an example of that. You know, they keep going, Obama who? Obama where? Obama's man sitting at fucking at home playing to Fortnite. They're sitting on their 350 paycheck. They're on their plane, they're banging out Hazel like, yeah. And Hazel's gamer tag is Arteta out. Do you get me, bro? Do you know what I mean? They're just banging out on Fortnite now. That's what they're doing, man. As soon as he signed that contract, his form's gone like that, bro. Even the Arsenal fans are like, boy, I think we should bench him now. We should bench him. Do you know what I mean?
Listen. That was a very long-winded way of saying that Man United in the title race. I heard that.
You have jokes,
for me, listen. Start of the season, I actually had Man City win the league because I did say, as I said earlier, Liverpool have been performing at a very, very high level. They're going to drop off, and I felt that Man City was so bad last year. I'm like, they can't be that bad again. I mean, they may end up with similar points, to be fair, as last year, but that might actually be enough to win the league based on how it's gone. But I do feel you can't sleep on Man City. They're defensively very solid this year. They just need to get their goal scoring boots on, and we know they've got that in them. When they do, then it could be problems in it. That's the first thing. So I think I did have Man City winning it. However, I did have Liverpool second. Like, you can't just say, "Oh, Liverpool going to win, get 99 points, and they're going to drop off." Like some Chelsea fans had Liverpool third, fourth, outside the top four. I'm like, you lot are moving mad because because I'm trying to think. Why was it now? Because Chelsea spent a lot.
Because they've got Lampard as the manager, and he's
English. Honestly, whatever the logic was, it didn't stand out. I heard the logic, the reasons they gave, and it didn't stand up. And now we're seeing it ain't standing up. Liverpool always going to be there and thereabouts.
Klopp's wonderful. I hate
exactly. I know. Yeah, I hate. He needs to leave. He needs to leave. Well, listen, I'm cool with what we got right now, but I'm just saying he needs to leave Liverpool ASAP because I'm sick of it already. I'm sick.
One thing I want to say, right? Because I did read you about Lampard, the bottle job, and I wanted to get your opinion on this, right? There's this parallel when I was doing the investigation to write about Lampard, why is he so shit? Because like you said, he's got amazing players there. No, keep it real. 220 plus. Do you know what I mean? Ziyech's a baller, bruv. Do you get me? He's sick. Werner. Do you know what I mean? Havertz. Do you know what I mean? Right. So I was doing the research, right? So what I found quite interesting is him and Gerrard got this kind of parallel universe thing going on, right? Where they both retired, like one in 2017, 1 Jan, 1 February. They both got the first job in professional management in 2018. Gerrard got it in June 2018. Lampard got it in July 2018. So it's random, isn't it? Like they retired at the same time, then they start management at the same time as well. Do you get me, right? And I think the problem with Lampard, right, is that Gerrard, he got hurt after the slip, bro. Let's be honest, right? He had to go to America. I'm keeping it real, bro. Man even said that. I know he said that. He did. He left the country. Exactly. He couldn't take it anymore, bro. He had to leave, right? And I'm telling you, and I think that's why he's been a better manager, right? Because he was broken, so he's now built this emotional intelligence, right? And that's why.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Frank's been broken. He didn't get promoted with Derby.
No, but that's a messed up thing. Come on, let's be honest, right? How am I allowed to swear on your channel or not?
Say what you want, man. Say what you want.
But in what world, right? If you set targets in your job and you don't hit those targets, in what world do you fucking get a promotion? Because that's what basically happened. Man got promoted for failure, bro. You know what I mean?
Wayne Rooney's doing all right now. Wayne Rooney's took over the job at Derby. He's doing quite decently. You never know.
Do you know what I mean, right?
He's going to be managing Man United.
And let's keep it real. Derby will set up in it. We all know, right? I'm not a Derby fan or Championship thing, right? We all know Derby will set up for him to take them into the Premiership. Do you know what I mean? They put extra money into it, right?
Yeah.
What did my man do? Finish 6th, right? And then he flopped in the final to Aston Villa, bro. Do you get me? And the thing is, like, I done my
and he's still got a job. He's still got a job.
Yeah, exactly, right. And honestly, right, don't sleep on John Terry, bro. He's doing the right thing. He's taking it simple, and learning the role, because we got to understand this, right? I don't know if you ever done management.
But even Gerrard, to go away into a league where there's only 2 teams that could possibly win it, do your thing over there. He had one season where he's trying to catch Celtic, and now he's doing bits in the Europa League as well. So when he does get a big job, he's got something to fall back on.
Yes,
to say, look, this is what I've done. This is what I've won. This is what I've. Lampard got fast track. But listen. So quickly wrap it up quickly.
I was going to say is that fundamentally, that's what I can conclusion my video come to, is that Lampard got some ego where he thought he was a big man and he could take on a new job like a management. It's totally different to being a player, right? He didn't. He's got the hubris. He thought, I can do it. Where Gerrard's like, no, bro. I need to go away, some dead team, and learn the job. Get my toolbox full. Do you get me?
No, I agree. And that's the thing when we compare Arteta, Lampard, Solskjaer. Solskjaer's never managed at this level. I agree. In terms of Manchester United, but he's been managing for 10 years over in Norway. So he knows how to deal with players. Yes, maybe not world-class players, but humans are humans after all.
Emotional intelligence, bro. Yeah.
Say that again?
That Solskjaer came as a winner. I mean, I'm fed up with people trying to downplay this. I mean, you can tell me it's only this league, that league. At the end of the day, look at Haaland, first of all. I mean, we're not hearing he was only scoring against that league now when he comes to the Champions League and scores 20 minutes. Don't hear that there. And then also, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the club he took over, had not won it for a century. Century.
Yeah, and he won it twice.
Yeah,
century. He goes back, man. He knows 1 or 2 things about football.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, precious.
But listen, but as I said, for me, I thought Chelsea would be 3rd behind Man City and Liverpool. I had Man United 4th initially, and then when we had that trash transfer window, and I was like, listen, we'll be
doesn't look very trash now, to be honest. Let's be honest.
It doesn't. But I was like, we'll be lucky to finish 4th. Spurs could easily get 4th for me. I said at the time, But when Spurs were going well, looking like a title challenge, I said, see, the only reason why Spurs could win could challenge for the title is Jose Mourinho. The squad ain't good enough. Yeah. The squad ain't deep enough to actually win the title. But Jose is a winner. He if they get to a position where they're fighting neck and neck, he's got the mentality to get those players round.
Oh, they'll probably win the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, I think they may well do that.
They're going to blow Brentford away. Come on.
Yeah, definitely. And then it's a toss-up between us and Man City, but I think we can beat Man City, especially they're playing on Sunday and they've got 5 players out with COVID. We're playing, and then the match is on Wednesday. We can get. I'm confident we can get through.
If but I'm confident. Sorry to interrupt you.
Go on. We say win that cup. What?
If we win that cup, I am genuinely confident we'll win the league. And what I mean by that is the difference between us and Liverpool. We don't know how to win yet. That's it.
Yeah. We got 3 semis last year and lost them all. So we need to learn how to get over the line. But yeah, as it stands now, Liverpool obviously in the title race. Man City, I've never counted them out of the title race. And I think Man United are there. Now, it doesn't mean Man United are favourites, doesn't mean Man United's going to win it. But it would be cowardly for us to be in this position at this stage of the season. We're approaching halfway and be trying to hide behind.
I think we're the best positioned team out of all of them. Because Liverpool and City want the Champions League just as much as the Premier League.
I think I hear what you're saying. I think Man City definitely want Champions League.
Liverpool would probably want the Premier League more.
Yeah, I think Liverpool want to go back to back. I think going back to back, cementing yourself as a dynasty, like to go down in history, you have to go back to back. Man United's done it multiple times. Arsenal has never done it. Chelsea's done it. Man City's done it. Liverpool has to do it. No, but it's like Arsenal. Arsenal won 98. They won 2002. They won 2004. They won doubles, which I think is also important, winning multiple trophies in one season. Liverpool haven't done that. Forget the Club World Cup and the Super Cup. I'm talking FA Cup, Premier League, Champions League. If you can win 2 of those, then you put yourself on another level. For me,
they're proper tournaments.
Exactly. Not one-off. Exactly, not one-off little one-off games here or there. For me, Man United's 3 times in a row teams are the 2 best teams in Premier League history because they won it 3 times in a row and they won Champions Leagues in between all of that in those seasons, trebles and doubles. Man City won back-to-back and they did the quadruple, the domestic treble. If you want to add the community shield, that's up to you.
If they win this year, their legacy, that team.
Yeah, 100%. 3 and 4 years is amazing.
And
Chelsea won back-to-back 2004, 5 and 5, 6, and they won the League Cup.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah.
Did they win that? Did they win the FA Cup? No, they won it. No, they won the FA Cup 2007. They beat us in the Wembley final.
They've done the league and they've done a double.
They've done the double. So Liverpool, for me, they need to definitely go back to back, and really to top it off, they need to do 2 in one season. So whether it's the FA Cup, Premier League, even the Champions League, FA Cup, you can say, you know what, that's a great achievement,
bro. We don't worry about the domestic cups.
But you should. No, it's cool.
I know. I hear what you're saying, bro.
Right now,
you know what it's like.
But listen, in the moment, it doesn't matter because the players won the big trophies. But in 20 years' time, when we're talking about the best Premier League sides of all time, we're looking at what did you win? As Graham Souness said,
winners, domestic. Win everything in your own country.
Exactly. As Graham Souness said, put your medals on the table. That's what you got to do. When all is said and done, you put your medals on the table. And that's what them players have to do. But listen, guys, it is coming up to 1 o'clock. I'm gonna probably watch some highlights of the game. And probably check out a couple of the other channels. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Share the content. And yeah, listen, this title race is hotting up. Big month of football coming up. FA Cup starts. The League Cup reaches this. The semi-finals is this month, and I mean we reached the halfway stage in the Premier League. January the 17th is a massive date in the English football calendar for many reasons this time around. Thanks for joining me, guys. Like the video, and I'll see you lot soon.